Let's see. Why is ClutterMeister suddenly talking about eating more vegetables? In fact, there's a good reason for it. You may have thought it odd that this subject came up, but what I really was trying to see is how a change of diet would affect the practical aspects of running a household and thereby creating more clutter or less clutter in the process. What I found is that just changing my diet a little bit and changing what I need to have in the home has an effect on not only how I behave at home, but also how I do my shopping. Eating more vegetables involves going to different shops. So I'm changing certain habits and I'm changing certain ways how I go about my days. Because some things are easier bought in shops that are not quite around the corner. So my little co-op around the corner doesn't, for example, have vegetables in quantities that work for a single person. Not only is it all packed up, but I have to buy it in the package sizes that are available, which then creates a problem with my meal planning. I have to admit that eating more vegetables and focusing more on vegetables has been a bit of a journey. I found that it's much easier to eat more fruit than to have more vegetables in cooked meals. The first reason is that fruit tends to be eaten in bits and bobs. So I eat one apple at one time, I eat a banana at another time. I may have a bit of a nibble on raspberries or strawberries or half an orange. Those kinds of things are easily managed. And even if I just eat half a punnet of something or I leave half an apple in a package, that's fine because I know I'll eat the other half of the apple within no time at all. With vegetables and cooking meals, things are a little different. For example, if you look at a soup, you don't just want one type of vegetable in a soup, you want a bit of variety, which means not only that, especially in the case of a single person, you have to cook smaller volumes, and those volumes would involve half a courgette and half a carrot and bits of an onion and 2 potatoes. It's an odd thing to cook for one person because if you want variety, then you end up with a huge amount of soup in this case. Yes, I could freeze some of the soup in portions, but I personally don't have a freezer, so I'm stuck with that. I found a way around this that solves some of the problems, and that's meal planning. So if I sit down at the beginning of the week and I look at what I'm going to eat and what I'm likely to want to eat, I can kind of plan ahead what I do with the other half of the courgette and how to use some of the other vegetables that I've used. Ultimately, it's a bit of an ache in the back because for one-person households, meal planning and batch cooking doesn't really work. I've been running into that particular problem of meal planning and batch cooking in the past, and I've found that it ultimately always leads into a situation where I'm eating the same thing for a couple of meals. And usually a couple of meals that follow each other because of my lack of freezing ability. What have I taken away from this experiment? For one thing, I did eat more vegetables and especially I've been eating more fruit, which is a good thing, and I'm likely to keep up with the fruit. However, when it comes to vegetables and meals in general, I found it really difficult to plan ahead. I'm not the most regular of people when it comes to meals, and I tend to spend a lot of time away from home. So cooking ahead is a bit of a problem, and I may just fall back into my old ways of eating more prepackaged stuff. But what I will keep up is more fruit, because I found it very beneficial. It's very easy. If you stick to the fruit of the season, it's also relatively cheap to keep more fruit around. And I found that cooking with fruit is actually a good thing too. So you can use apples, pears, citrus, bananas in regular meals if you go for a slightly more adventurous meal. In my case, I like to cook Asian food, and fruit is very much a part of that, so that works for me. If you want to go on a diet or change the way you eat or change some part of your regular meals, try it out. Try to make plans how to use the ingredients in different ways. And maybe stick to ingredients that are multifunctional, that you can use in desserts as well as main meals, as well as in meals that you can freeze. I'd say give it a go. If, like many other people, you've taken the resolution of changing your diet in some way at the beginning of the year and you've fallen short of your expectations, try something different. Don't just give up. Try to find another way of doing what you set out to do. I certainly will keep up with my veg, and I hope you do something similar with one of your New Year's resolutions. Stay clutter aware and come back for more. If you want more, there are options. Click the round logo to subscribe to this channel, or select the playlist in the middle to see more content, or check out the links in the description below. Oh, and feel free to like this video.